what just caused me to turn the recorder on, because the past 2 weeks I have been binge eating shitty food. And I can, of course, not surprisingly, see it in my body shape, right? And, that's where historically I lose it, right? That is the fast track to completely derailing myself. I mean, this was a big fucking month. August, getting through August, and I feel like I put more weight than I've ever put on. In this case, it was Kira, Shri and Kira's, the messages that they convey and share. They and Bashar are the top teachers in my life right now. They are people in physical form. Well, Bashar isn't, right? He's being channeled by Daryl, but that affects Daryl. Shri and Kira, those three people have managed to live many, many, many years now, following their truth, what they are here in this life, in small part at least, to do at these times. And in both cases, they have tremendous abilities to channel that which is beyond our third dimensional world. And I'm pretty certain that I'm in somehow, obviously, I'm somehow in that realm. And it began with Abraham, right? Because Abraham was the first one I was introduced to. It resonated as truth immediately. When Mimi said what she did a year and a half ago, that made me come back, just her suggesting I'm a modern day or a type of Abraham. Honest to God, I never ever had that thought, as much as I listened to them for a year. Yet as soon as she said it, that somehow brought an enormous additional level of clarity to what I was feeling about my truth, about my calling. So, and I think these messages are going to be able to be released. And I think probably sooner rather than later, because, and this is the part that I'm seeking guidance, and I'm already off track of why I started this, but that's okay. Let me just put a note out there to remind myself. It's the show 24. You know what? Let me go back there. Let me close that off, because it's an important point to make, and I very easily could see myself losing that point if I allow the tangent to go on. So let me just say, and let me slow down. Although maybe these aren't the ones I'm supposed to slow down. So it's just, what I was starting to say was the past 2 weeks, and it started with the Kosovo retreat, and it's just the eating, for me, it's, and I'll say, it's not the lack of exercise, although that is something that I need for me to be following my truth. I mean, that is part of who I am. I mean, I love it when I'm fit. And so I know I need to reintroduce that and bring that balance. Plus, I know it's because of the dancing that I want to do. And I feel like with more clarity that I'm meant to do. And I got to be in shape. So, but if there's one thing I've learned in the past couple of years, particularly this past year, it's not about the exercise and killing your body. It's the other end. It's the eating. If you listen to your body in the present moment, and you truly only put what as minimum as you need, because when it comes down to it, that's what food is. It's fuel. We're not even supposed to get, quote unquote, our calories, our fuel for these bodies from drink, right? Think about when we were most connected with the earth, with all the other beings that are out there, all the other energy, hunter and gatherer. There's no coffee out there. There's no soda. It's water. It's water. It's loading your body up with water, and it's eating as close to the earth as possible. If you desire to get the absolute most out of this physical vessel, and it is staying fit by either playing sports, dancing, working out, whatever you're doing. It's about trying to mimic the way that we were as beings, as early human beings, before all these modern day conveniences. Because when we were more connected with, and we just, before language, when you just knew you were connected to everything. You knew that the earth was something to be respected. You knew you just had a conscious awareness and knowing of how small we were. How could you not, when at night you look up at the stars and you didn't have any obstructing light? And you see what is, we just knew, is what I would argue. We just knew. It was inherent to stay in balance with this, our home, the planet. And as an extension, our bodies, the home for our spirits. We had an awareness that that the essence of us was not our body. And I feel like that's part of what this awakening is for those who are ready. And because of the times in which we're living and what my particular interpretation and belief, I think there are many millions of people that are feeling this. So all I'm doing, you're going to awaken as we all awaken. There are similarities in the journey, and I'm just sharing what my awakening journey has been like to help those who are feeling it and who want to respect it and keep following it. Who want to keep following and respect themselves enough to admit to themselves, whoa, I'm feeling something that, whoa, the rest of the world is isn't really talking about this a lot, but it's about respecting yourself. It's not respecting me. It's not, it's respecting yourself. Really. And so this week, these past 2 weeks, starting with the Kosovo retreat, because food is inherent in gatherings. And a gathering like that, an all expense paid gathering, it's just like, it's built into our psyche to take full advantage of that. Eat up, order the best meal, or, whatever. And in my history of deprivation of myself, that gets into Janine Ross' beautiful, profound interpretations of eating, and how the eating is that's just the outward manifestation of what you feel to your depths about living. And so 3 weeks ago, I started, I opened that slippery slope in my life, and I'm not alone in this, and then I coupled it out of all shows to decide to rewatch 24. And I've now gone through 3 entire seasons of 24 in, oh God, I think it's been 2 weeks. I don't even think it's been 3 weeks, because I haven't, and that gets into, this has been the most insane past month of August. And Shri and Kira, I started to say that I think I put a little bit too much weight. I think I gave it more power over me because in some ways, Sri and Kira were drilling it into us that it's going to be a crazy month. It's going to be tumultuous as hell, or it's going to be a month of miracles. And it's a miracle that I got through without feeling worse, without doing worse to myself, because my website, essentially all my work shut down. Everything shut down. I went to some very necessary places about my financials. Huge shit took place in August. And it is a miracle that the only true slippage I would say I had was the eating. Because the lack of exercise wasn't really new, the lack of work, but again, I was still doing the work. I just wasn't doing the work that was at all visible to anybody, right? I've been doing the unseen work like crazy this past year, but up until August, I was able to maintain at least something that appeared to others to be work, right? Blog posts or videos or something, and podcasts, and I've been silent for 3.5 weeks. And all necessary, so really amazing, because the old story Alyson would have been like, oh shit, hang it up, girl. You just lost all your traffic, all your old story people, you know what they're saying. Oh, this is about this. Yep, this is about the timing of it. Usually Alyson stays pretty excited for about a year, and then she fizzles out. And there's truth to that, and the reason why is because it is hard to stay motivated without support, like people who are able to support you without understanding you. That's what it comes down to. People that are able to support you energetically, like truly wish you well. Truly wish you well. Like all their energy, like awareness and unaware, what they're unaware of, they really want you to do well. That's a hard thing to do in our world because we just instinctively compare, and we've got these self-imposed ceilings on our own happiness and our own quote-unquote success. And when it's almost ingrained in us that when somebody reaches our own thresholds, that somehow threatens us. And in the new game, there are people out there who are not going to be threatened and are living, but most of my old story was very rooted in the game of competition. And in the game of competition, if you're still rooted in your mind as opposed to your heart, rooted in your brain, in your thinking, as opposed to being rooted in your heart and your feeling, and if you're still mostly living in a world of competition versus cooperation, it's like I kind of knew on a pretty damn near aware level this was going to be the fucking hardest year of my life. And it was. Because so few could truly extend, I'm so happy for you without understanding what the hell are you doing? Where are you going? Like so few people. And that took a lot to get used to. And so August was the first month that it all stopped. And of course it was necessary. And the fact that the only thing that suffered really was the eating, wow, that is a miracle. But I can tell you that, again, what caused me to pick up this tape recorder however many minutes ago was the realization that even though I gained some things work-wise by the viewing of 24, because I really didn't remember a lot of the details. And again, I'm in a different place. And when you watch something or read something or, it affects you differently if you're in a different place. That's why it's, I think, crucial and really, it's not crucial. I think it's a huge opportunity to revisit things that affected you strongly in your past. I.e., you really liked it, or just in some way it really affected you. It was a really hard lesson, so it was something that was hard and difficult that you wouldn't like to relive, or it was something that you loved. Revisiting that as you awaken was hugely healing for me and revealing, just helping me understand what was it about this show in particular that drew me back then. And whatever. Like I said, this isn't for me to analyze that part of that part of my toolkit, what I'll call Alyson's really unique toolkit, because I think that is a unique therapeutic, quote unquote therapeutic tool that I don't know if you'll find anybody else on the face of the planet who will make that suggestion in the way that I'm going to make. But this isn't to talk in detail about that. This is just to bring up that while I gained positive things from rewatching these 3 seasons of 24, the overall energy of that show, the energy of the themes of that show is fear. It's fear. It's 180 degrees in the other direction of what I've been focusing on. You know, like Grey's Anatomy, shit, you know, it's that's Hollywood stuff. You know, that's like the love and the idealism. That doesn't hurt me. West Wing, they take the aim at the politics and they deal with the issues, which if you focus on any of the issues, you could get bogged down in the quote-unquote negativity, but the overall take on the energy behind those shows is very hopeful, in my opinion. You know, West Wing takes a very idealistic approach to what our politics should be, could be. We'll say could be. And 24 is the other way. And perhaps it happens single-handedly because TV in and of itself is addictive. It's comforting because you identify with these characters because it's not unreal. It's presented to you as fiction, but it's not unreal. I know people, you might not know somebody with all the exact combination of the characters that are being played, but you absolutely know people with certain parts of the characters being played, and in some cases you may very well know somebody who's almost exactly like the characters being played. So it's comforting. It's like having them in your life when they're not physically there. It's quote-unquote dangerous TV because look, I experienced it, and again, I didn't question it all month. But that is by far the most TV I've watched I watched quite a bit when I was home in Michigan during my healing year, but not like, I don't feel like it was anywhere near what I sat on that couch and watched things, film, TV, documentaries. I mean, more this past month put together than a lot. And then you kind of comfort yourself further with food. And I would argue that the fear-based energy contributed to why I was drawn even more so to shitty food, the comforting food. I mean, what I am going to say is going to be it's a goal, right? This is just a goal. It's okay if I slip. But I am hoping that yesterday was truly my last day of eating in density. What I call eating in density. Eating, completely disconnected from my higher self. When I have the ability to connect to my higher self because of all the work I've done in 3 years. I mean, if I listen to KD, if I put this music on, I can connect to my higher self in about 10 seconds. But I've got a pretty developed, continuing to develop, and pretty developed ability to connect to my higher self without any aids. I don't need drugs, I don't need coffee, I don't need food, I don't even need the music. And I don't even need to be outside. And music and nature are hugely powerful, wonderful aids. And I can get connected to myself even with the music stuff, because I have had mostly the meditation music on. That's always, I pretty much always have. It's rarely silent in the house. If there isn't a movie or TV or something, the film or something on Netflix, I've got music going. It's almost always music going. So, but I can get connected. I didn't eat every single time I thought about it. I resisted some nights. I resisted getting in the car because I don't keep any of it in the house. So it's been super expensive as well. because I'm not going to keep that stuff in the house when I'm in this place. But I'm not going to even keep it in when I'm not in this place, because I don't want, it's not food, it's not what I want to put into my body, ever. I really don't ever want to put that into my body. It's even because, I was going to say, even when I'm hanging out with other people, they can bring that food in. They can eat that way. And the trick is learning how to still hang out with people you care about and not judge them for wanting to eat that way, but being able to maintain the way that you want to eat. And again, one of the reasons why I'm isolating myself for the next 5 days, in a sense, I'm still going to go outside. I'm going to go outside and interact with nature. But these next 5 days, before I go work a race, and before I go see my friend in Orlando, I've got the ability, I absolutely have the ability to go into those places where I'm surrounded by people specifically eating and drinking things I don't want to. I've got the ability now, I do. I can say no and just drink water or order fruit or whatever, whatever I can do that. I can do that. I'm strong enough to do that. And it's going to get easier if I can string together 30 days straight of that. But yesterday I filled myself with the heaviest of heavy. A bagel with cream cheese and a heavy coffee, and then a sub sandwich, baked beans, and then a pizza. Seriously? And I wonder, but, and I don't even, I continue to not even really let myself taste it. But that's okay. Gentle. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So, what are we at? 23 minutes here. So, all this to say that it's all the energy. It's all about the energy. And this is going to be an awesome month. This is the, Shri and Kira, that third month of the male. Again, I still need a lot of guidance from the Ascended Masters on how to exactly interpret so that I can speak about it more, what's going on. I certainly feel what's going on. Essentially, I just can't really describe it all that well yet in our language. And the time may come where I'm able to, and maybe I'm going to communicate it through music, through my singing and dancing. But essentially, we're shifting to another dimension, or the ability, or some of us, if you want to. And what I think is happening is that I believe I can live as a fifth dimensional being in this third dimension, in this body, which is to say, in this body, and facing all the challenges that we face when we only see ourselves in the third dimension within this body, when we feel that we are just the limited physical creature. I know we're beyond the physical. And I know that this physical body is here for me to push it as far as I want to push it, because it can do, we're seeing what it can do, right? Because the spirits that are being born, that's why you see young people doing athletically what they're doing, Because as young people, they already have no fear, and it's just, the timing is not accidental. The timing of the year that this is happening. More and more souls are being awakened. We are able to remember at younger and younger ages that we chose to come here. We chose to come here. And I've been saying it for months, but enough is enough. I'm now really ready. I'm ready. And it's time to make that choice and to commit to it. And I know that for a big part of my truth to come out, because of how big food and exercise have been in my old story, it's food and exercise. I love working out, and I want to be as healthy as possible in this physical body. And that means putting all the best stuff in it and treating it as the temple that it is, because it houses our spirit in this life. And so this is my month, the 30 days that Abraham talks about, 30 days. And it's not an accident that this leads me right into my trip into Seattle. And I just made the decision to move everything. My Seattle life is on pause there, and it's so okay. But I finally sort of stated that and accepted that just a couple of days ago. So believe me, the work has continued this month. It's just been a lot of unseen to others. And I'm the only one that needs to know and see it. And as long as I continue to trust myself, the message is going to be coming out of me now in exactly perfect ways. So today is September 1st. The first of 3 very, very powerful feminine energy months, according to Shri and Kira. And again, the overall opening of the Merkaba and the greater thing that's happening, like why those 3 months are tied to the feminine energy, I'm still processing how to speak about that, and I'm not sure if I'm meant to speak about that. I might just be meant to direct anybody to whom that sounds interesting to Shri and Kira, because they explain it plenty well, in my opinion. So it feels awesome to launch day 1 here in this way. I woke up feeling a little rough, in terms of my mental state. Mostly because I looked at myself as just my physical state, and of course I'm not going to be thrilled with eating like garbage for 3 months, because but we're not going to talk about that. And I've managed to get some work done around the house here, and showering, and I sang and put KD on, and recorded this, and now I'm going to get ready to begin this blog post. However long it's meant to be, because it all starts today. And I'm just continue to be eternally grateful. And I also, as always, continue to ask for guidance, inspiration and guidance from the gods, guides, and angels that I know surround me all the time, surround all of us all the time. That's why you're never alone. That's why you're never alone, even if you're physically alone. You always have access to infinite intelligence and infinite support, and most importantly, infinite love. But it takes a little practice to be able to receive it. And mostly it takes slowing down and believing it, and slowing down so that you can receive it. So I continue to do the work. I continue to be grateful beyond words. And please, gods, guides, and angels, send me all you got, because I'm ready. I'm here, I'm open, I'm ready. Guide me. I think I'm here, I'm ready, I'm open, guide me. I'll have to review. So, okay. Have a good day.